Good morning, my friends. Dr. Minette Riordan here, painting in your PJs with Minette, and I am continuing to explore feelings and emotions on the page using my morning art activation process. And this morning, I'm sort of thinking about pairs of emotions and opposites and how they make me feel. And this kind of came from just doing some simple watercolor play. I did some journaling. And this sort of feels a little bit like chaos, and the other side feels like calm. So chaos and calm. And then I thought, well, what other pairs of emotions could I play with? And uh, happy and hopeless. So I did a Google search for what are some of those emotions that might represent happy or hopeless. And interesting how tape is acting as a resist. So happy feels like these beautiful burst of energy on the page. It feels like lots of color, or like maybe fireworks going off in my brain. And things sort of blending together. And there's lots of light, right? There's lots of light and spaciousness. So I'm not painting on watercolor paper. This is a just nice mixed media paper, but it's doing some interesting things, spreading the ink. But I love how happy to me feels open and growing and spacious. And my inner child wants to just keep putting paint down on the page and letting it flow. In this process, my morning art activation process does not need to take a really long time. It can be just a few minutes like this of simply putting color down and feeling the impact of that color. Like that feels very alive for me. And interestingly, the opposite of happy isn't sad. It's actually hopeless. It's actually hopeless. And hopeless is not something I feel very often, but every once in a while, I do feel a little bit of that sense of hopeless. So when I think about what does hopeless feel like, it feels maybe like a tornado or a whirlwind, and it feels dark, and those colors feel dark, and there's sort of a maelstrom. And I'm sort of sitting down here in the bottom of that maelstrom. So I love working with this with emotions in this really simple way. And then there's that part of me, the happy part of me, because I feel pretty happy this morning, that wants to make this pretty, right? That wants to come back and brighten that up and add some colors. But I want to stick a little bit maybe with this feeling of hopeless. So I'm going to come in. This is a Stabilo Marxall water soluble pencil, which I love. And there's something about moving the pen, the brush across the page that is brilliant for helping us get in touch with our emotions. I might even spray this with just a little bit of water just to see what might happen and get some more texture happening on the page. And that sense of hopeless is when I'm down here in the bottom of this maelstrom and there's everything's going on around me and I can't see my way out. So for me, this is how hopeless feels. But this over here is how happy feels, right? This is how happy feels. Bright and alive and growing and blooming. Lots of movement, like just beautiful, joyful movement and growth. And I love combining the watercolor with these Stabilo Marxall pencil. This one needs a good sharpening at the moment, but this sense of just brightness and happiness, and the sense that, everything's right with the world versus everything's wrong with the world is the way I might describe it. And so this one feels happy. And when I play this way in my journal, I do like to label them so that I remember what it was that I was working on. And this one's wanting a little bit more of that yellow in here. So I'm going to come in with some nice vibrant yellow. My my water's kind of dirty at this point, but even with that watercolor, we can put on that pure pigment. And yellow feels like happy to me. If I think about what's a color that feels like happy, it's yellow. And intuitively, I went with that red first. And it's interesting because then in happy, there's a lot of passion and movement. Happy versus hopeless, two just simple pages that help me understand how I feel about different emotions and working with pairs of emotions. So if this is happy and hopeless, and to me, these felt like chaos and calm, chaos and calm. So I love playing with watercolor in this way to just express my emotions and sort of capture, how I'm feeling in the moment. So chaos and calm and happy and hopeless. So grab your watercolors and give this fun, simple exercise a try. Love to hear what you think and what you create. Have a beautiful rest of your day, my friends. Thank you. Bye bye.